Hey, what's going on guys? Khordmaster's here, and in today's video I'm going to share some tips and tricks and life hacks for you to become a better content creator. The first thing that I want to talk a little bit about is using your phone less. So when you think about it, as a content creator, we are pretty much always on our phones, right? Or tablets, or any type of device that allows us to be able to create content and check how our content is doing. I believe that, the fact that we can be working or being on 24/7, doing these things on our phone, whether it be Instagram or Facebook or YouTube Studio. I mean, I'm notorious for swiping down on YouTube Studio, and I hate the fact that I do that so much. So give yourself a break every so often. Perhaps, don't leave your phone or don't bring your phone into the bedroom at night, so that the first thing that you check in the morning is not your phone, it's something else. It's, reading a book or saying a prayer or checking on your significant other, that type of thing. So just be mindful about the fact that if it's on you at all times, there's a better chance that you are going to feel the need or the urge to check it. So, even if you're in your house, like think about, for me, if I'm practicing piano, for example, I don't need my phone there to practice piano. I can have the phone somewhere else so that I can concentrate and not be distracted by alerts and notifications on my phone, or even distracted by a phone call or a text message from someone who, do we always need to be reachable, 24/7? Depends on your situation, but I would say most of us don't necessarily need to be, reachable 24/7. Next thing is prayer. So this is definitely subjective, but if you're a religious person like I am, I'm a man of God, I'm a Christian man, it's important to just make sure that you're taking time out of your day to pray for guidance, for, thanks for the positive things that have happened, forgiveness, like all these things that we've learned over the years. It's critical to not forget about them. And I have forgot about them sometimes in my journey, where I'm so in the midst of everything. And sometimes I don't necessarily, come up for air and kind of realize that there's more important things to kind of be focusing on, rather than just always being right in the midst of the content and making content and that sort of never-ending cycle. So definitely pray more. It's very important, and yeah, do that. So social media, we talked a little bit about the using your phone less, but in terms of specifically with social media, understanding that, like, yes, we need to have a presence on social media, but it's a fine line between having a presence there and then sort of using it too much to the point where you're letting its negative attributes, negative things that can happen, and toxic things that can happen if you use it too much, sort of take over you, essentially. So definitely think about ways to kind of get better control over social media. One of the things that you may want to consider doing is, you have an iPad, you have a phone. Perhaps your phone does not need to have Instagram on it, or YouTube Studio. Perhaps your iPad can be sort of your work device, and that can be the one where you're, engaging in content, you're making content, posting, interacting, all that stuff. But like your phone, which you always have on you, now when you're out at a restaurant or a family's house, like you can't always be doing that stuff, because maybe you don't need to be. Or maybe you do. Maybe you're like me and you go back and forth, where, you realize that when you're in a doctor's office and you only have your phone on you, well, yeah, that's a pretty cool time to actually be, maybe, editing some SEO stuff for your YouTube video or whatever. So it's going to depend on everyone. I've gone through seasons, like waves of realizing that when I have social media off of my phone and I have it only on my iPad, I'm just happier and I'm more at ease and more at peace, and it's just like better. It's a better overall experience for me. So I know that that's the case, which means that for me personally, like my journey is I want to use it less and less and rely on it less and less. And a way to do that is with email marketing. And that's something that, that's a sort of next topic here, but that's something that's just on my mind right now, that like I want to get people's email addresses who are interested in the stuff that I do and create dedicated content going right to their inboxes. Because when I'm making videos and making things for Instagram and social media, sometimes and oftentimes that stuff doesn't even get to the right people because of the ever-changing algorithm. So definitely keep that in mind. Definitely important. stop feeling overwhelmed. So, you know, being a content creator is like one of those jobs where you're always, you feel like you always need to be on, and you feel like as soon as you post one video or make one, you know, piece of content, you're on to the next one immediately. Think about like all the other jobs out there and all the other professions. Like a lot of them have breaks. Think about your favorite TV show. Like your favorite TV show is not ongoing perpetually forever. There's a season and then there's a break to, you know, recuperate, and then there's another season. So make sure you're giving yourself a break, and think about why you're doing what you're doing, because I think that why is definitely an important thing. Another thing, just being honest, you know, with yourself and with others. There's a show called Atypical that I love on Netflix. My wife and I watched it. And one of the things that's like refreshing on that show, and even Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I've just been kind of watching the latest 2 seasons of it, it's like something really special about being honest and direct with people that we don't see a lot of that anymore. And I really like that. Like I think that being honest is sometimes uncomfortable, but in the grand scheme of things, it's much better than being dishonest and or not sharing your, you know, feelings about certain things. So try it out and see if it works for you. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So the next one is like decluttering, right? If you have a lot of stuff in your house, consider getting rid of a lot of this stuff, because having too much stuff it can take a toll. It can take a toll on you in terms of your concentration. Whether you're a music, you know, creator like myself, when you have too much gear, that can be bad. Having too much gear, you're like, oh, well, what do I want to use? It can be good too, because you're like, oh, well, what do I want to use? I feel like using this today, or I feel like using that, you know, tomorrow. Like, it's good to have a little bit of flexibility. But again, you know, like the previous topic said, like, be honest with yourself and understanding that there is a thing as having too much, and that's gear that you use, as well as things like, if I look around in this room, I look around, I'm like, okay, there's a few things I can spot right now that are not needed, and I don't think I'll ever need them. So like maybe you get rid of them, right, to kind of clear up a little bit, and that type of thing. I got rid of like 90% of my clothes. I'm like, I don't really like having a closet full of like a lot of stuff that I just never wear. So I got rid of like so much stuff and donated it. And yeah, just part of my journey. I enjoy having less selection. When I go in my closet, it's like anything in there is wearable, as opposed to like, okay, I'm not gonna ever wear this, but no, I don't want to get rid of it because it's brand new or it has a sentimental value or whatever. No, just get rid of it. It doesn't need to be there. So this one's important. This one here is, and I need to do this more as well. So we live in an unprecedented time where we have access to people of influence through their social media accounts. So one thing that is, I think, very important as we continue to expand and find like-minded individuals through social media is to look at the people that you follow, like people of prominence that you follow with a big following, and you respect what they're doing and you're engaged with what they're doing and it's inspiring. Look at who they follow, because more than likely, like, who they follow is, it's important that you know some of those individuals and that you check some of their stuff out too. So who they follow, for the most part, can be people that are inspiring to them. So if you're inspired by this person and this person is inspired by this person, wouldn't you want to be? You see where I'm going with that? Like, definitely take some time to do that, because can be pretty telling for sure. So the next one is like, should your office be your music studio? So, or should your office be your creative studio, let's say. So where you're working, like where so I tutor math and I give piano lessons, but I also, you know, create content and film and edit videos. I do a lot of different things. And so I've learned that, like, it's hard for me to sit down in my studio where my Roland Phantom keyboard is here, my OPZ is there, OP1 is there, Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo Switch is right there, and I have access to all these things that are invigorating to me. And it's hard for me to sit here and be like, nope, I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and update my email list or something like that, or do some work on my website or something. So for me, I kind of realized that it doesn't really work having, you know, both the creative studio, creative station, as well as like the workstation be all in the same place. It doesn't work. So to that point, I go to coffee shops. a lot. I mean, I haven't gone in a little while now because I got my little baby girl who is here now, who's like 8 days old, which is incredible. I can't, I'll talk more about that later. I don't even want to like distract the video with that, but it's incredible. It's the best thing ever. Like, I can't stop looking at her and I just love it. But yeah, I used to go to coffee shops. I'll start introducing that again relatively soon. And that has been so helpful to get out of the house, to be in a different setting, different environment, and be like, okay, I can't play Smash Brothers. I can't do music. I can't do any of these things. It's like, here, this is work time. This is like building, you know, things that are going to help build my brand and stuff like that. And it's been super, super effective for me personally. So even having an office space, like that's something that's on the table for me before the end of this year. I think I'm going to actually rent an office space to do my some of my tutoring from, and also to do some of this work when I don't want to go to the coffee shop, but just go somewhere that's outside of the, you know, the home. That's something that's very, very high on the list. So consider exploring different areas for different reasons for your work and for your creativity is the main point for this particular one. When you're mixing and mastering or even listening to your own music, consider doing it, well, not the mixing and mastering part with your eyes closed, but consider listening to your music with your eyes closed. Your brain is gonna be expanded, right? You're not, when your eyes are closed, your brain is no longer processing what you're seeing, so it's able to generate something special in terms of what you're hearing, and it can kind of transport you in different ways and make you think about your music differently. So definitely try that out. And like a bonus tip with that for piano players or guitarists or anyone who plays any instrument is consider playing with your eyes closed. That same thing that I just mentioned is very much a part of that experience as well, where you're kind of, for me personally, I'm able to be like transported, like when I'm playing with my eyes closed. It's really, really special. So consider doing that and let me know what your thoughts are on that. Next one is, if you're someone who's a little shy about your music, you can play your music for people without telling them that it's your music, because the moment that some people know it's your music is the moment that they'll be like, maybe not willing to give, you know, their honest opinion, for better or for worse. Rather, if you're like, if I go to someone, I'm like, oh, yo, I heard this song, like, what do you think about this song? And I play it, and they don't know that it's mine, they'll give me their honest opinion about it, probably more so than if they know that it was your music. So that's something that you can definitely try out, and curious to know how that works for some of you guys. So next thing, like, think about your vices. Is your vice like watching too much TV, watching too many movies, going on social media too much, playing too many video games? Like, these are vices. They're all okay things to do as long as you don't do them too much, and you do them in moderation. But think about ways to limit some of the things that are getting in the way of more important things. So for me, if I said to myself, all right, I play too much Smash Brothers, I love playing it, I'm nearing 1,000 hours in the game, which is insane, and also I'm kind of proud of that as well. But like, why don't I say something like, all right, Kev, I will not play Smash Brothers for 2 consecutive days. I can play as much as I want today, or as little as I want, or as little as I can today, but if I play at all today, then I can't play at all tomorrow. And given some type of like little limitation like that, I think can allow you to just think about what happens. Like, you're not playing the next day. Rather than saying, oh, I'm only playing on Mondays and Thursdays, like, life can happen and maybe you don't want to play, maybe you want to play on a Wednesday or something. So try that out. You can say the same for social media or even Netflix, for example. Like, I'm not watching a second of TV today or tomorrow if I watched a little bit today. It's something that works extraordinarily well. This was a video that I've wanted to make for a while, and sometimes I overthink things with some of these videos, and you know, I need to stop doing that. I've had these life hacks written in this template here for a while, and I wanted to share them with you guys. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that everyone's doing well. And if you guys have any tips or suggestions, or if you let me know like which of these really resonated with you, any information, just drop them in the comments below. I'd love to kind of hear from you guys and keep the dialogue going. And, you know, just again, thank you guys so much for watching the video. And I'm looking forward to making more like this, more of this sort of informal, educational, kind of me talking to you type of a thing. And it worked out well because I had like my screen, now I put it up so now I'm looking down here, but I had the screen minimized so that I couldn't see what you're seeing of me, so that I'm like looking directly at you like this, and it's definitely better doing it that way. So thanks again. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Kevin Allen, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're starting right now. That was me imitating and giving a shout out to my man Nick Nimmin, who I interviewed on my show not too long ago. He knows a lot about YouTube and he always says that. And we're starting right now. All right, anyway, let's do this.